Earlier this week, we talked with Sage Lally about creating brand values. Who are you? What do you value? What do you stand for in your business? But I think that goes even a step further. That comes back to what is important to you. What are your values? What keeps you up at night? What are the things that you want to advocate for? So today's Powerback is about getting back into connection with yourself, understanding who you are, understanding what your values are. What are your non-negotiables? Look, it happens on a daily basis. You get into work, you get into your office, your to-do list starts to grow, you get caught into a routine, people are pulling you 100 different directions, and before you know it, you just kind of become this machine. Days go by, weeks go by, sometimes months go by, and then you start feeling depleted and disconnected and like, who am I and what am I even doing? Maybe even more importantly, why am I doing all of this? What does all of this mean? Have you ever asked yourself like the meaning of life? Like, what does it all mean? Today's Powerback episode gives you an opportunity to reconnect with yourself, to come back to your why and help you really understand like what is fitting, what is working, and what am I hanging on to that really is ready to be let go of? Before we get into the nitty gritty of that, though, how many times have you been working or creating or trying to achieve something and you're like, I can kind of see it, but it feels overwhelming. It's daunting. I'm not sure what my next step is. I don't even know if this is a good idea. Is this something I should pursue? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm not good enough. And then the rat race of your brain starts to take over. Yeah, super familiar with that. And it's the work that I love to guide you through. Look, I work with female entrepreneurs and people that are in a place where you're like, something else is calling me. I'm just not sure what that is or how to get to it. Sometimes all you need is an accountability partner, someone to help you focus, someone to help you know what the right next step is. And honestly, help get you out of your jam head for a hot second and believe in yourself again. It is my goal and passion in this life to help guide you back to saying yes to yourself, to learn how to trust your intuition, to learn how to take that next step, and to really allow yourself to do the things that you feel most lit up to do. If this is piquing your interest, I encourage you to go to LauraAura.com and book a discovery call. Call me. Let's talk about this. You do not have to do this alone. And asking for help, in my opinion, is a fucking flex because that tells me that you are invested in yourself. You are invested in your future. And look, we don't have to flip over the whole damn table in one day, okay? Big changes start with small yeses. I'm accepting coaching clients and would love to hear from you. Again, LauraAura.com, book a free discovery call, and let's make some shit happen together. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty of your values. So, first and foremost, pen and paper or the notes section on your phone or however you get your ideas out of your brain and onto paper. If you are driving, maybe bookmark this, listen through it once, and then come back to it to do this exercise. But this is really intended to help get some like feet on the street, to get the train wheels moving, to get some lubrication in there so that you like shit is moving forward. Because let's face it, it is, again, so easy to just get wrapped up in the doing and forget about the being. I also want to note that this is very, very much a personal exercise as it could be a business exercise. So, regardless of where you are in your journey and what it is that you are striving to do, this exercise can be applied to both of those things. So, the first thing I want you to dive into is what lights your ass up. I mean, what brings you pure joy, excitement? Like these are things that you can't wait to do, or you know, if it's coming tomorrow, you're like, I am ready to go. It's kind of like when you were a kid and you knew that you were going to go to the amusement park the next day, like it's Friday and you know that you're going Saturday. Like Friday, you can't sleep because you're so fucking excited because you know the big day is tomorrow. That kind of stuff. What makes you feel alive, excited, connected, joyful? Like if someone was like, "Hey, I need you to do this thing," you would be like, "Fuck yes, sign me up." So I'll share a few of mine just in case you need a little bit of direction or context. For me, speaking, coaching, teaching, and building out space. Like any of those things, if you were like, Laura, come speak on my stage, I would be like, fuck yes, when, where, how? The aura building that we are building out to be an entrepreneurial hub makes me ridiculously excited. Like I can get lost in Pinterest for days, like send a search party. And anytime I have a chance to connect and teach and help other women grow, like all of that stuff makes me insanely excited. Outside of my work life, anytime I have a chance to connect and be with the people that I love, to explore and to go to new places and try new foods. I'm a total sucker for a great market. Like anytime a bunch of people are coming together collectively to do something for a greater mission, like yes, please. There's a whole list, but I want to give you some context and examples to get your brain moving. Like what literally lights you up? Now, I'm gonna come full circle with this, but the point of this is to one, reconnect with who you are and what brings you joy, but two, to start recognizing, are these things present in my life? Am I doing the things that light me up? Am I fulfilling myself from a rooted space? Or am I stuck in a place of doing to get things done? So that leads me to my next question for you is what drains your energy? This is the stuff that you procrastinate like hell on. If you know that you have to do it, again, let's just recognize the word have to. That explains everything. No further explanation needed. This is stuff that you put off to the 11th hour. You go kicking and screaming. You don't want to do it. It drains your energy. You get pissy about it. All in all, it's just really not a great place to be. A lot of times these things are very sneaky and they end up kind of getting tucked in your world or tucked into your schedule, or it just kind of becomes like a behind the scenes, it runs and it operates and you're feeling drained, but you're not really sure why. So much of this exercise is awareness to come back and say, oh, I didn't realize that doing that drained my energy. Oh, got it. Makes a lot of sense now. And lastly, I want to ask you, what disrupts your soul? This is very different than the daily tasks or the ongoing things that occur in your life. These are like deeply rooted causes, feelings, experiences, shit that's going on in the world. Like, what disrupts your soul? There is an incredible amount of value when you can recognize the thing or things that tip you off your rocker, that say, you know what, I'm not okay with this. And what can I do to help make this better? How can I contribute to this organization? How can I advocate for these people? What service can I create to help support people in this particular realm? What organization could I join to help teach and educate? What disrupts your soul? For me, one of the biggest things that disrupts my soul is watching women live this watered down, mundane, routine, unworthy lifestyle. And it's not because anyone or any of those things. It's the conditioning of what you should be versus what you want to be. It disrupts my soul to see people struggling and doing things alone. And it disrupts my soul to see government trying to tell women what they can and cannot do with their bodies. So, you know what you get to do? You get to advocate, you get to create, you get to create a stance. And by going through this exercise and really getting back in touch with yourself, you can say, okay, I'm starting to re understand what my values are. What your values were 6 months ago may have shifted to what they are today. You may be in a different season in your life. You may have values that have shifted or changed, or you have new values that have not yet been poured into. What do you value the most? What do you crave in your life that is currently missing? What are you not allowing yourself to have the time and energy for? Your values are you. This is who you are. This is what makes up the specialty of your amazingness. The quicker you will get into alignment. And when you are in alignment, everything that you see and feel on the inside gets to become your reality. So, who are you? What do you value in this life? What brings you uncontrollable joy? and what disrupts the shit out of your soul? Answer those questions, and you're going to know a whole lot more about yourself and how you are going to make the most impact, not only within your own world, but in the world around you. On next week's episode of the Gutsy Podcast, episode 136 is about evaluating shiny object syndrome. You're chugging along, you're doing your thing, and all of a sudden, boop, ooh, that's shiny. Should I invest in that? Should I purchase that? Or is that something that should just go by the wayside? Next week, my guest is Danielle Hayden. She is a CFO and she helps us to understand when to invest, when to buy, and when to keep going. Get social with me on TikTok and Instagram. I am at that LauraAura. And as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.